Welcome to practice. This is a brief Katonah Yoga practice to help you really establish yourself in your ground of being. That is your hips, your feet, and your legs. It's your tenacity to be on this planet. It's your personal footprint. It's how you hold your ground. We're going to work with forward folds and with folding and unfolding from the crease of the hip to really find our stability so that ultimately we can move upwards into our ground of doing, our capacity, and then eventually up into the third floor, our ground of seeing. So in the Katona theory, the body is a house. It is your personal magical abode. So you have 3 floors to this house. The ground of doing, which is your legs and your feet and your hips. Again, that's your stability and your tenacity. And then you have a ground of doing, which is your hands. It's your chest. It's the living quarters of your house. And then you have a ground of seeing, which is all of your sensory information. It's your 360 degrees of vision, your capacity to have a big vision for your life. We're going to start, though, like I said, in the ground of being. So you're going to want to have some props for this practice, ideally 1 to 2 blankets and a stack of a couple blocks. If you don't have those things, you can still do the practice. I'd recommend you grab a towel or a blanket or something to put under your heels for parts of the practice. And I've been known to use a stack of books in replacement of blocks. Tolstoy makes a nice thick novel. So grab whatever props you need and then rejoin me. We're going to begin on all fours. So coming to the mat, place your hands directly underneath of your shoulders and your knees directly underneath of your hips. And we really always want to do things to a measure, not just to our feelings, so that it's really formalized. And out of that formal structure, we can get a little more spacious and create room for insight. So I like to place a block just behind my forearm. And when my wrist is truly at 90 degrees, my forearm will be flush with the block. And then I can take a block and place it, same thing, against my knee and up my thigh. And if it's at 90 degrees, my thigh will be flush to the block. And after you've taken the measure, you can set those 2 blocks aside up at the top of your mat. Make good contact now with the tops of the feet. So really spread the top of the foot into the floor so you have really solid contact with the earth below you. The top of the foot spreading like you were putting peanut butter on toast. And out of that anchoring, you'll find that you have more contact with the earth and the upper body can get a little bit lighter. Now inhale and tuck your tailbone underneath of you, bring your chin to your chest, and then exhale and radiate outwards, broadening the collarbones. Inhale through the nose, round the back, and exhale, pop it forward. Now start to do this with a little bit more speed, really anchoring the movement in the pelvis, which is like the basement of your house. So it's like you went down into the basement, where the pilot light is, where the water heater is, and you are going down to strike a match. So start to pump your breath in what we call a Bastrika breath or a bellows breath, forcefully inhaling through your nose and exhaling forcefully. And as you pump the breath, start to make it a little bit faster, going forward and back and forward and back. And you can imagine that it's like you were rubbing 2 sticks together so that you could really start a fire. And you can let this fire get a little bit uproarious, a little bit out of control, knowing that you are stable by your hands and your feet. So go forward and back. And this can be a little bit irritating and a little bit agitating. A yoga practice is always something counterintuitive. It's this moving against our habits and against the grain. And so these practices are rewiring our neurology, and that can be, well, a little bit frustrating. If this is new to you, you can go a little bit slower, but if you've been doing a practice like this for a while, you can really whip yourself up. So keep breathing and moving the pelvis forward and back and forward and back. Just for about 30 more seconds. In, X, in, X, in, X, in, X. Pause at the center. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold your breath. And then exhale it out and start to spin your pelvis around to the right. So here, imagine that on your tailbone was a pencil and you were spinning a circle behind you, drawing a nice circle behind your butt. And here now we are tempering the fire that we built with water. So we're still down in the lower body, which is where you propagate from. It's your primordial nature. But as opposed to being all the way down in the perineum and working with the endocrine system, the hormones, now we've moved upwards into the spleen and the pancreas and the kidneys. Your kidneys are your ancestral waters. So it's your stock. It's everything you showed up on the planet with. So spin around yourself. And if you wish, you can make this nice and slow. Just sort of stirring your pot with a bit of languish. You can carve out some space for yourself, make it nice and grounded. Or if what you need today is to whip yourself up a little bit, you can put a little speed on it. We are really powerful when we have a lot of tools in our tool belt, and then when we know how to apply them. Pause in the center, take a nice deep breath in. Hold your breath for a moment, and then exhale it out. Good. We're going to flip the wrists. And it's important when you flip the wrists that it's really coming from wrapping the armpit towards the shoulder. So you're externally rotating the shoulder, not just trying to flip right at the wrist. So from the shoulder, flip the right wrist all the way around, and then flip your left wrist all the way around. And look down at your hands. And make sure that they are still shoulder distance apart. There's a tendency to bring them closer together and broaden your collarbones. And again, recommit to spreading the tops of the feet on the mat. So the housing for the lungs is shoulder to shoulder and shoulder to hip. And you can think about this torso as a frame or as a window for opening up the lungs. Structures are what inform organs. And so as we set up the conditions for a really good window into our house here, we can truly open up the lungs. Look slightly forward and now spin your pelvis around to the left, going the other way. And now as you spin, know that when we were going to the right, it was the direction of the spin of the planet. Time is always moving from left to right, from the dawn in the east, and then setting in the west. The sun moves across the sky, but the planet is spinning left. And we're resisting that pull of the unconscious, that magnetism that is our lunar selves. So when we go to the left, it's the esoteric dialogue of playing with our primordial nature, playing with how we handle our heart. So spin yourself around to the left and keep gazing slightly forward. Very nice. And then pause at the center. Take a nice deep breath in. And then a long exhale out. Good. Flip the wrists back forward. And one more time, go forward and back. So recommit to the commitment of the tops of the feet down and pump your breath. Again, heating yourself up. In, X, in, X, in, X, in, X. And then pause at the center. Again, a nice deep breath in. And now exhale, curl your toes under and come up and back to a downward facing dog. For a moment, you can just pedal through your feet, pushing one heel to the mat and then the other. Good. And then as you're ready, establish your foundation now. So really come to the balls of your feet and spread the ball of the foot. The heels will be a little bit lifted as you bend your knees and sink your hips up and back. So it's like you're pushing the center of the hamstring back. Wrap your armpits towards your heart and have your biceps right alongside of your ears. So it's buoyant and light. And you can sense and imagine that you are creating a 60-degree triangle of strength and structure and stability. Now from here, unfold from the hip, shoot forward to a plank pose, and then refold at the hip back to the dog. And now go forward and back, maybe about 10 times. Again, putting a little bit of speed on it and pumping the breath. Good. Come back to the dog hold. Again, a little bend in the knee, really lifting the sitting bones up and back so that your kidneys are available to you. Take a nice fluid breath. Consider that you are lengthening from the perineum to the navel to the sternum and all the way through the crown of the head. Very good. Walk your feet halfway up your mat. Take the measure between your 2 feet a fist distance apart, the distance of 2 hips. 2 hips, 1 hip. 2 fists is the distance of hip distance apart. And then reach for opposite palm to opposite elbow and hang over yourself. And really find that sense of folding in the hip crease. And shift the weight forward to the ball of the foot and then back to the heel. And gently rock back and forth, literally playing the line of digging your heels in and then coming forward onto the ball of the foot. Good. Release your fingertips to the floor and make that rocking a little bit bigger, way back in the heel and then way forward to the ball of the foot. And then find yourself at the center of yourself evenly between both feet, pressing into the big toe ball of the foot, the pinky edge of the foot, and the back 2 points of the heel. Now bend your knees a lot and let your torso go. Let your arms be super heavy, your head heavy. And now start to draw the knees forward as you roll up. Keep pressing the knees forward, letting the torso and the head be heavy. Knees forward, and then drive the pubis forward and unfold yourself all the way up to stand. Very nice job. Okay, grab your blanket. And you're gonna wanna unfold a blanket across the center of the mat. And some of you might feel like it's better to have the blanket folded over more than once so that you have a little more height in the heels. And then place the heels on the blanket with your feet hip distance apart, balls of the feet making contact with the mat. Grab your 2 blocks and have them ready at the top of the mat. And now find that sense of coming forward onto the ball of the foot. Take a nice deep breath in and lengthen from the tip of your tailbone up through the crown of your head. Imagine that you are on a spit. You could sense that a golden thread ascended from the universal above you, and then it went straight down through your perineum, connecting you to the core of the planet beneath you. Take your left arm out in front of you, and now take your right hand and grab your left elbow. Make a fist in your left hand and lift this frame up alongside of your ears. Now wrap the pinky edge of that left fist towards your face so that you're hugging the left armpit towards your face, and then fold and reach for your right elbow with the palm of your left hand. And if you can't make that connection, that's just fine. Do the best that you can. Get what you can get today, and know that in time you are meant to fit yourself. Use this frame like a handle to lift yourself up and off of the kidney band. Take a nice deep breath in, and now start to send your hips back so that you're coming into like a Utkatasana, a traditional chair pose, but on the blanket, and keep fighting for the back bend. Now I want you to imagine that there was someone behind you pulling your hips back and someone pulling your elbows in the opposite direction. Keep sinking through the hips, keep back bending until you have to start folding and your torso comes parallel to the floor. Reach, pulling the sitting bones one direction, the elbows in the other, and then keep folding. Bring your armpits towards your knees, straighten the legs a little bit. They won't straighten all the way. Come forward into the balls of the feet. Good. We're going to reverse that. So bend the knees deeply. Start to initiate a back bend and lift your torso till it's parallel to the floor. Imagine your hips were being pulled back, your elbows were being pulled forward, and then start to lift your chest and sit into your chair pose once again, and then push with the pubic bone all the way up to stand. Fold into a back bend, drive the pubic bone forward, the thighs forward, and then press yourself back to stand. Stretch your arms up and release them down to your side. Very nice. We're going to do that one more time with the opposite fold. So now take your right arm up parallel to the floor. Make a fist in your right hand. Take your left hand and grab your right elbow. Lift that frame up alongside of your face, and now wrap your right armpit towards your heart, the pinky edge of your right hand towards your face. Take the second fold, reach for your left elbow. Wrap both armpits towards your heart. Lift up and off of the kidneys, and now bend the knees, sink your hips, lift your chest, keep sinking, folding from the hip crease till your torso comes parallel to the floor, and then keep folding knees to armpits, lift the sitting bones a little bit, coming into a hang, And then reverse it, bend your knees. Initiate a back bend till your torso comes parallel to the floor. Imagine you are being pulled in opposite directions. Keep sitting back, lift your chest, push all the way up to stand, drive your pubic bone forward. Very nice. And release your arms to your side. Good, tuck your chin to your chest, throw the knees forward, round down, nice and slow. Let the torso be super heavy. And then make good contact between your belly and your thighs. Walk your hands forward onto those two blocks and shift forward even more into the balls of your feet. Sense that your buttock bones are moving back, the knees are moving forward, and there's this very good contact between belly and thigh. You're lengthening from the perineum to your pubic bone, to your navel, through the sternum, and up through the crown of the head, stretching forward. Good. Imagine you are standing on a giant clock, so the tailbone behind you is 6 o'clock. The pubic bone out in front of you is 12 o'clock. And now walk your hands over to 10 o'clock. Anchor a little deeper into the ball of the right foot so that you're counterbalanced and you stay true to the center of yourself. Nice big deep breaths. Good, and now walk your hands over to 2 o'clock. Weight the left foot so that there's a sense of really anchoring down through the ball of the left foot so you can stay at the center of yourself. Good, and now walk the hands back to the center. Lengthen your sternum forward. Very good. Fold back down over the legs. Second hang, take your hands behind your heels now and cup your heels in the palms of your hands. Drive your thighs forward into the belly. The thighs are the trajectory. The belly is the receptacle. So you can imagine that it's like you were throwing a ball into a mitt. Keep lifting the sitting bones, send the center of the hamstring back. Don't lose the contact. And then look between your legs, gazing back into the past, which is behind you. Potentiating yourself by putting the weight into the ball of the foot. Couple more breaths, let the head go. Good. Put your mind and your imagination into the shape. When a pose gets really arduous or difficult, the more we can open up the thread of our imagination, the more we can really land and stay where we are. So we'll magic square this pose. So for 1, lift your perineum a little bit higher. And then 2, imagine that you are very gently throwing the ball of the right knee slightly forward. For 3, lengthen your left hip out to the side. And then for 4, take the ball of your left knee slightly forward. Very good. For 5, go right into the center of the thighs, the center of the belly, and make good contact. And then for 6, perk up your right sitting bone just a little bit. For 7, widen the right hip out to the side. And then for the number 8, perk up the left sitting bone just a tiny bit. 9, lift your tailbone. And then 10, imagine yourself in the center of a sphere. Take a deep breath in. Good. Exhale, release the heels. Again, throw the knees forward. Let your torso and your head and your back be heavy. Keep tossing the knees forward and spinal wave. Roll all the way up to the top. Very nice. One more hang here. I know that these are arduous and demanding, so the more you attune your mind and your imagination into the shape and the connection with your breath, the more fluency you'll find, the more capacity. When poses are new, we're in our first nature, and it can be really difficult. It's new wiring for our neurology. And then the more we practice it, it gets more formal because we apply our education to it. And in time, our stellar nature, our favorite self comes into play, and we find freedom in the containment of the pose. So one more time, nice deep breath in, and then bend your knees, tuck your tail, drop your head, release your torso, super heavy, and melt back down. Good. This time, slide the blanket out from under your heels, and now bring the palms of your hands underneath of your feet so that your toes are making good contact with your wrists. Push into the ball of the foot so that you have 2 planes of potential. All the soft, squishy bits in the body are potential. All the hard bits are the memory behind us. So the palm of the hand and the sole of the foot is connecting potential on potential. Keep finding that good contact between your belly and your thighs. Keep lifting your sitting bones, doing everything that you know how to do in a shape, in this shape. And then put the thread of your imagination back into it. Sense as you inhale, the breath is warmer. And as you exhale, the breath is cooler. So now imagine that fire is rising up your back from your perineum to your third eye center on the in-breath. And as you exhale, water descends down the front of you from the crown of the head back to the perineum. Inhale and image fire rising, your vigilance, your effort. And exhale, now that you've made effort, receive grace. And sense that as that fire and water mix, there's an inner alchemy, and you make steam, and the steam rises. Couple more breaths, fire rising, water descending. Very good. Lift up your feet. Take your hands out from under the feet. Pull the blanket off to the side. Plant your hands and walk your feet back to a downward facing dog. And right away, lift the tailbone up. Find those 4 points of contact. Look forward. And now lunge your right foot between your hands. Get your right knee all the way into your armpit, which is hip distance apart, and then descend the back knee to the mat. Press the top of the left foot into the floor. When there's a good fold in the right hip, there won't be any pressure on the knee. So for a moment, walk your fingertips out to the side. Use the shoulders like a leveling tool to know that you're nice and measured, and then straighten your back leg on the top of that left foot. So it's like you're cracking the precipice, that hard shell on the back foot. Go a little more towards the baby toe side of the left foot and then redescend your back knee. Very nice. Take your right arm, really get the right knee into the armpit, and now stir a pot. And this can feel a little gross. It's a lymphatic flush. Again, this dialogue is mystical, not medical, but give yourself this nice little massage of the lymph that is underneath of the armpit. And you can change directions, stirring this nice big pot. So nice. Big breath. Very good. And then pause here. Nice. So now we're going to unfurl from the hip crease. So find good contact with the ball of the foot. Press the top of the foot down and then unfurl it. Pubic bone forward. Take your arms up and find the frame alongside of your ears once again. Drive your pubic bone forward. Use your arms like a handle to come up and off of your kidneys. Nice big breath. Good, and then unfold it, fingertips back to the floor again. Walk your fingertips forward of your right foot. Keep the contact between the belly and the thigh and curl your back toes under. I want you to lengthen once again from the perineum, that's the space between the anus and the sex organs, your navel and your sternum, and travel forward. Good, now from here, you're gonna lift your right toes up as you hinge back, keeping full contact belly to the thigh. The right leg will not straighten. And now go forward and back. So keeping that good contact, the back foot is like an anchor. Know that contact breeds contact in the body. So as you find the fold in the hip, you'll find the knee in the armpit. And in time, the more connection that we have with ourselves, the more currency can flow through us. Good. One of the beautiful things about learning to fit yourself and learning to lean into the body's geometry is simply knowing that we're not meant to fit everyone, but we are meant to fit ourselves. And when we can start to really fit ourselves and organize our personal abode, we become self-sufficient in community. It's a really beautiful thing. It's like tuning your own instrument so you can learn to play in an orchestra with others. Good, a couple more. Nice. Come back forward. Now take your right hand to the inside of your right foot. Spin on the right heel and turn the right toes open and repress the back left foot onto the floor. If you want, you can come up onto your fingertips. Again, really finding some length, the chest forward. Good. And then if you wish, come up and off of the kidneys and then down onto your forearms. Lengthen your chest forward. And once again, walk it over now to 10 o'clock. Now from here, tuck your chin to your chest, look at your belly button, and then re-extend your head, and now your head will be in line with your spine. You may stay right here, or if you wish, we're going to turn this into a rotation. So go forward and start to back bend, and then spiral your chest up towards the sky. Take your right hand to your knee, but rather than pushing the knee away, I want you to back bend away from the leg so that you're opening up, and it's really voluminous and spherical now. Finding a back bend, broadening the collarbones. Receive your breathing. Good, very gently back to the midline. Up onto your hands, spin the right toes forward, curl your back toes under, and step back to downward facing dog. Right away, find those 4 points of contact. Forearms are subject to deforming, and every time we come to the dog is an opportunity to recommit to the fold in the hip. And then look forward where you're traveling and lunge your left foot. Get your left knee into your armpit, descend the back knee. Widen your hands out to the side, up on fingertips, use the shoulders like a leveling tool. Press the top of your right foot into the floor and then straighten the back leg. Roll a little more till the baby toe side of the foot and redescend the knee. Very good. And then once again here, stir the pot. So get the knee all the way into your left armpit and really make a big circle with that left hand. And again, this can feel a little crunchy. You might get some little like nerve zingers in your arm. Nice big breath. Staying present with whatever arises. Know what to remember and know what to forget. This feels a little gross right now, potentially, but you're going to feel good afterwards and you'll forget how difficult it was. And then come back to the center. Let's unfold from the hip crease. So uncurl yourself, pubic bone forward. Take the frame over your head, lift up and off of your kidneys. Really press into the ball of the front foot. Press the top of the back foot down. Come up and off of yourself. Re-extend the arms, take the fingertips down to the floor. Curl your back toes under, make contact with the left knee and the left armpit, and then stretch yourself forward. Again, find length, pubic bone, navel, sternum. And now start to go forward and back. Keeping that full contact between the belly and the thigh. Again, the goal is not to straighten the leg. Just finding that fit with yourself, opening up a little more capacity, a little more range. So nice. A couple more breaths, moving at a pace that's sustainable for you. Very good. Come back to the center and pause. Bring your left hand to the inside of your left leg. Press the top of the right foot down and now spin your left foot open. Lengthen yourself forward. Again, you can stay right here or come down onto the elbows. Lengthen your chest forward. Good. Now walk the hands over to 2 o'clock. So over to the right. Tuck your chin to your chest. Look at your belly button and then re-extend the head. And then if you wish, start to go forward and back bend to come around and bring the left hand to the knee and then back bend away from your left knee rather than pushing the knee away. Broaden your collarbones. Good deep breaths. Unfold that, fingertips back to the floor, and then step back to a downward facing dog. Right away, 4 points of contact. Sitting bones high. Cross-reference here. Find the ball of the right foot and draw a diagonal line to your left knee. And broaden that line. And then find the ball of the left foot to your right knee and expand. So now you have this X in your lower legs. And then draw a line from your right knee to your left sitting bone and your left knee to your right sitting bone. And then perk your butt up in the air. And then make it a little bouncy. Bounce on the balls of the feet, sort of jiggling and shaking things up a little bit. Any stagnancy in the waters in the lower body. Very good. Nice job. Pause, get still. And now walk your feet forward once again. So nice. Bend your knees a little bit, flat back this time. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, bow back down, little bend in the knees. Nice flat back, inhale all the way up to stand. Circle your arms by your ears. And exhale, take your hands to your side. Nice, we're gonna do one more little semi-demanding fold and unfold. It might mess with your neurology a little bit. You might get a little tangled up. Trust yourself, play with it. It will come in time. So take your right hand to your left hip and then cross your left hand over your right hip. Very good. And then look down at your feet and spin one foot in and take the measure so that your feet are hip distance apart. Very good. Now from here, all I want you to do is pick your arms up off of the hips and now bend them like Garudasana. So either the backs of the arms can touch or you can take the full wrap, grabbing your left wrist with your right hand. If all of that is in place, please make a fist with your left hand. And now imagine that you had a friend that was lifting on your elbows and they were pulling them up and away from you like they had a handle on you. And now bend your knees like we did earlier and sink into chair pose. Hook your chin over your left bicep, putting a little pressure on the thyroid. Elbows come up and forward. Now keep sinking until your torso comes parallel to the floor. Again, the elbows are going forward, the buttock bones are going back, and then keep folding till your armpits and your knees make contact. Now listen. Partially unwind the arms. So the right hand comes to the left shin and the left hand comes to the right shin. So your arms are crisscrossed and you're holding your shins or maybe even all the way around to your heels. Lift up through your buttock bones. Keep your left hand just where it is. Unravel your right arm up to the sky and twist your torso to the right, straightening the left arm, flatten your back. Now look at your right hand with your gaze, take it up alongside of your ear, go forward, 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 and then cross your right arm over your left. Good, we're gonna reverse that. So bend the elbows, and now your right arm is on top. Take your left hand and grab your right wrist, maybe making a fist in your right hand. Hook your chin over your right bicep and bend your knees. Lift your elbow points till your torso comes parallel to the floor. Imagine you are being pulled in two directions and push all the way up to stand, driving your pubic bone forward into a back bend. Good, we're gonna reverse that. Bend the knees, sink the hips into chair pose. So nice. Keep folding until your armpits come to your knees. Fold over your legs, and now take your bottom arm, your left hand to your right shin, and your right hand to your left shin. So if you didn't uncross your arms, we are on the opposite side now. So your left hand is on the bottom, right hand is on top. Unthread your left arm, your bottom arm, and twist your torso to the left, maybe even straightening your right arm as you lengthen the side body. Look at your left hand and swim it up alongside of your ear, forward, and cross over yourself once again. So good, you guys. Okay, so now your left arm is on top. Bend both elbows, and all you have to do is take that wrap again for Garudasana. We're back where we started. The left arm is on top. Hook your chin. Bend your knees and imagine you are being pulled from elbows and sitting bones. Keep sitting back, passing through chair pose, and then push all the way up to stand, unfolded into a back bend, pubic bone forward. Last time, bend your knees, sink your hips. Fold all the way back down. So nice. And now, left hand is on your right shin. Right hand is on your left shin. Pause, lift your buttock bones, and heel toe your feet apart until you can't go any farther without losing the connection between your hands and your shins. Take your right arm, your bottom arm, unthread it, and twist to the right. Right arm up to the sky. Look at your right hand, take it alongside of your ear, and then fold it, cross it over the left. Very good. Take your left hand, unthread it up to the sky. Stretch your left hand forward and cross it over the right. Again, the right arm, unthread it. Alongside of your ear, reach forward, cross it over the left. Good, last time like this, left hand up to the sky. Stretch forward, take it alongside of your ear and cross, pause. This is totally optional. You can stay where you are, or if you're feeling a little frisky, turn your left toes in towards your belly button, about 60 degrees, sort of like a warrior 1 foot. And now turn your right foot open to 90 degrees. Go underneath of your left armpit and roll it open, keeping the connection, keeping the clasp on your shins, and go under yourself. Good. Unravel it, turn the feet parallel, pause. Take your right arm, your bottom arm, take it up to the sky and twist right. Swim your right arm alongside of your ear, stretch it forward, grab your left shin. Optionally, turn your right foot in about 60 degrees, big toe towards your belly button, turn your left foot open to 90, and come underneath of the right armpit, spiraling open. So nice. Good. Come back to the center, spin the feet parallel to one another. Undo the cross of the arms, grab the backs of the legs, and fold forward. Draw the scapula down the back, take the curve out of the upper middle back. So nice, you guys. Very good. Walk your hands towards the top of your mat, coming into a low lunge, and then travel back to a down dog. 4 points of contact. Lift your sitting bones high. And then lower down to your knees. Good. Grab your blanket or your towel, no matter how flexible you are. It never hurts to put yourself on a throne. Give yourself a little elevation so you can really get forward on the perineum. So organize yourself here. Take your legs to sort of a little baby straddle, like so. I'm going to scoot back so that I can put my heels on my mat. You're welcome to do the same thing. A little bit of a wide straddle, almost like you were going to take a happy baby pose, but sitting up. Take your arms up, make 2 fists, get up, 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 super tall, fold from the hip crease and reach down and grab your heels and then pull your torso forward. So again, it's like you were doing happy baby, but sitting on your butt. Very nice. We're going to turn this into a spinal rotation. So take your right hand and bring your right forearm to the inside of the right leg, the back of your right shoulder to your knee. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Take your left hand to your sacrum and start to spin your torso open to the left. If you wish, and you're feeling a little frisky, like we do in extended side angle, you can take your right hand and dive it palm down under your right leg, make contact between the back of your right shoulder and your right knee, and then take the bind and spin the torso open. Very good. Couple big breaths here. Very nice. Gently, slowly unravel that. Once again, make contact with the heels and pull your chest forward and up. And let's take the spin to the other side. Start by just nestling. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. The left shoulder behind, to the inside of your left knee. Right hand to your sacrum, spin your chest. And again, if you're feeling frisky, this left hand is going to go palm down like you were internally rotating the shoulder. Swim it under you to make contact, back of the left shoulder to the inside of the left knee, and then take the bind and spin your chest open to the right. Broaden your collarbones. That's it. So nice. Good. Unravel that back to the center. Once again, grab the heels, lift the chest. Very good. So nice. Last step, this is optional. You are welcome to just stay here holding on to the big toes or to the heels. If you're feeling like you want to try a little play with a little more intensity, we'll say, in the fold, you can nestle your right arm under your leg and your left arm under your left leg. And you're going to start to wiggle the knees up towards the shoulders. And then spider walk your fingertips out to the side. And then you might start to straighten the legs, folding forward. And some of you might have your chest to the floor and the legs straight. And some of you might be more upright like me with the knees still bent. Taking a little turtle pose. Right on the perineum. Good deep breaths. Good. When you're ready to retreat from there, bend the knees and lift yourself with a nice flat back all the way up. Very good. Cross your legs, nice and casual. And just sitting upright again on the perineum, on the blanket. So put yourself on a little slope and come to just a nice cross-legged seat. To do any spinal rotation, we have to go up first. So sense yourself plugged into the earth below you, the crown of the head lifting tall, and then just take a nice casual spin to the left, your right hand making good contact with your left knee. And just spinning around yourself to the left. Very good. And then unravel that, come back to the center and take it over to the right, your left hand to your right knee. Broaden your collarbones. Look back over your right shoulder. Good. Bring the torso back to the center. Once again, organize yourself. Pull the flesh of your seat back. Plug your perineum into the blanket like a plug in a socket and close your eyes. Bring your hands to your knees for a moment so that there's this really good connection between the ball, which is the knee, and the mitt, which is the palm of the hand. And when you're really on your perineum, it'll feel like you're sort of pitching forward, but there'll be a nice wave and a curve in your spine. And you might even find you need more than one blanket here. Just pause for a moment and organize. And if you don't like having your eyes all the way closed, you can close them 9/10 of the way. And bring your tongue to the top of your palate, just behind the teeth to the place where you would say the word Alleluia, or love, or listen, or library. And open up the baby soft spot at the top of the head. And image a golden thread from the North Star, the universal, up above the crown of your head, and sense it dropping in and descending right down the center of you, an implicit, unseen line, an imaginary thread, down and out the perineum, all the way to the molten core of the planet. So now as there's this connection to the great conversation happening below the earth, the fungi, the tree roots, all the way again down to the core of the planet. And then up above you, there's this connection to the birds and the trees and the universe that's beyond. And in between these 2 points of contact is you and the tingling of your flesh, your skin. So pull the tendrils of your attention deep inside of yourself and feel into your internal environment now. To all the fluctuations, the movement of breath, life pulsing through you, the ancestors breathing you forward. Not altering the breath yet, just feeling and watching. And now relax your tongue in your mouth like an oyster sleeping in its shell or a paintbrush in its palette. And now once again, image fire rising up your back body. And exhale deeply, water grace descends down the front of you. Start to breathe a 6 to an 8 count Ujjayi breath. Find a little constriction around the glottis, the back of the throat. And breathe in that warm breath, seamless 6 to 8 count inhale up the back, and then the water, the grace, a seamless exhale down the front. No retentions at the top of the in-breath or the bottom of the exhale. Just like a silk thread, in and out. And now let go of the image of fire and water. And the next time that you breathe in, imagine that you are inhaling down into your depths and up into your heights in equal measure. And as you exhale, that's reconciled right at the center of yourself. Inhaling up, 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 and down, down, down. And exhaling to mediate right in the middle. Go and release that. Bring the hands to the knees if they're not there already. And inhale and tuck your tailbone and round your back. And then exhale, pull on the knees, arch, and go forward. And start to go forward and back with your breath, just like we did on all fours earlier. In, X, in, X. Start to speed this up a little bit and make it smaller so that eventually the chin is parallel to the floor and you're just rocking back and forth between the anus and the pubic bone. In, X, in, X, in, X, in, X. And you can imagine that the pelvic floor is like a match and the earth is a giant striker and you are trying to light a little fire under your ass. So go forward and back and forward and back and forward and back, building some pliancy, some heat in the body. You want to know that you know how to heat yourself up and cool yourself down, because if your house is too cold or too hot, it won't be a nice place to live. So go forward and back and forward and back and forward and back. And know that as you're going forward and back, you're playing the potential in front of you and the past that's behind you. So keep going, keep traveling, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Learning how to play the center, the mediation point, which is the pelvic floor. Now pause in the center, take a deep breath in. 3 more sips through your mouth. 1 more sniff through your nose. Hold your breath, lift your sex organs, your navel, go up, up, up like a tube of toothpaste. And now pop your cork out the crown of the head. Now inhale at the left and exhale, spin to the right. So start to carve out a big circle for yourself. Hands on your knees, traveling, inhaling at the left, exhaling at the right. A big circle around yourself. Again, we're stirring our waters. It's like putting a big spoon in the pot of soup and swirling it around. We're spinning around to the right, inhaling and exhaling, again, which is the spin of time. We want to know how to play the world, how to make deals in the world, how to shake a hand and write a check. So spin around to the right and know that you are managing that piece of yourself in the esoteric dialogue. Big breaths. Spinning around to the right, we're attuning to the liver, which is our eyesight, it's our vision, it's our education, and our experience. Good. Now change directions and go around to the left. Carve out some big space for yourself. And if you wish, you can make this smaller, like you were whipping up whipped cream, and go a little bit faster. But now inhale at the right and exhale at the left. Choose a pace and a speed that feels appropriate for you, but know what you get when you use that tool. We want to learn to know what all these tools are so that we're not using a hammer when we need a screwdriver. Now you're spinning around to the left, which is the spin of a baseball diamond. So the pitcher's mound is your pelvic floor. And first base is your left sitting bone. Second base is your tailbone. Third base is your right sitting bone. And your pubic bone is home plate. So spin around yourself to the left. Know that you're playing now the spin of the planet, which is the magnetism again. It's your lunar self. It's the side of the heart. So it's how you handle your heart. It's your articulation of the tongue, your heart seeking a vision. So know how to handle your heart and spin around to the left. Big breath, inhaling right, exhaling left. Good, now come back to the center and go forward and back again. Good, pause at the center, take a deep breath in. 3 sips through your mouth. 1 more sniff through your nose. Inhale, hold your breath for the pregnant pause, and then exhale around yourself. So nice. Take your arms up in the shape of a V, an equilateral triangle for strength and structure and stability. Make cups in your palms, so if gift waves are raining down, you are ready and available to receive it. Wrap your armpits towards your heart, so your biceps are right alongside of your ears and the lungs are coming forward. We're going to pump out a Kapalabhati breath. So as you exhale, you're going to be snapping your navel point back and exhaling out your nose. It sounds like this. If this is new to you, go nice and slow and just practice pulling the navel point back and exhaling out the nose. If you're more experienced, you can pump the breath a little bit faster. So all together, take a deep breath in and begin. Good. Keep pumping the breath. Kapalabhati means skull shining breath. It's originally one of the Shat karmas, or the purification techniques of Hatha yoga. It was the imagery in the esoteric dialogue of a psychic cleanse for the astral eye. So keep pumping your breath back. X, 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 X. It might make you a little lightheaded as you sort of hyperoxygenate, as you feel that sort of buzzing in the midbrain, the tingling in the face. Keep pumping your breath. X, 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 ascending your heights. When we do pranayama, we're playing with our anxieties and we're playing being a stick in the mud, and we're learning to mediate the two. So keep pumping your breath. X, 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 X. Know that ascending a mountain can be a little bit irritating and the air can get a little bit thin, but the view is spectacular. So keep pumping. And you might speed it up now like you are riding a racehorse to the finish line. Get even more committed to the tenacity of straightening your arms, and X, 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 30 more breaths. 20 more. Keep going. And know that if you hate this, then you can speed up the count and get it over really fast. And if you love it, you can slow the breath down and make it take longer. Last 10 breaths. Take a deep breath in, hook your thumbs over your head. 3 more sips through your mouth. 1 more sniff through your nose. Deep breath in, hold your breath, push up, 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 and then pop your cork, bring your fingertips to the floor and reground. Make 2 cups in your palms, backs of your hands to your thighs. Sit up very tall. And once again, see that golden thread ascending from the universal down to the personal. And put yourself at an imaginary steering wheel right at the center of the self, so that it's you, the center of your circumference, you, the center of your circumstances, the mediator, the modulator, and the meditator. Know that body is a house and you have a ground of being beneath you, your stability, your tenacity to be on this planet. And you have a second floor, a ground of doing, where you build capacity and mastery, where you handle the world and cultivate trust in yourself, and you handle your heart and you articulate a vision. So turn your heart ever so slightly to the right, so you're singing the vision out into the world. And then lift your chin a little bit and go up, knowing you have a ground of seeing, a third eye, a prism that sees all things. Know that you have a beautiful mind and that you can have a big vision for yourself and your life. Know everything behind you is memory and everything in front of you is potential. And you are right at the center of yourself, right at the steering wheel, mediating all polarity, authoring, going up, going down, going in, going out. Rub your palms together in front of your face. Get lots of friction between your hands. Really get after it. And then cup your palms over your eyes with your fingertips on your hairline and soften your eyeballs in the socket like a ball in a mitt. Open your eyes behind your hands, taking in the fertile darkness. And then gently release your palms, let in the light, and welcome yourself back. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Selena Garofino, and I am the founder and the creator of the Evolve Method. The Evolve Method is the result of 20-some years of my personal practice, almost 15 years of teaching, and over 6 years of running yoga teacher trainings. This program is anchored in classical yoga studies, personal development coaching with licensed professionals, and modern movement research. This really embodies what it is to be part of the Evolve Method. Our programs are systematic. Your 200-hour teacher training is a program that sets you up with all the kinesiological, the anatomical knowledge, the foundation of yoga history and philosophy, as well as a very strong anchoring in modern movement research and functional anatomy. And then out of that, when you learn this basic sequencing structure and this capacity to teach vinyasa, hatha yoga, and restorative yoga, you're able to build on that in our advanced programming, which teaches things like the energetics of asana, tantric teachings on mythology and embodying conscious myth in your teachings and in your practice. The program also has a ton of modern movement that comes to us from different mobility systems and joint health systems so that you can truly practice for longevity. We named this program the Evolve Method because it's about more than a physical. My name is Selena Garofino, and I am the founder and the creator of the Evolve Method. The Evolve Method is the result of 20-some years of my personal practice, almost 15 years of teaching, and over 6 years of running yoga teacher trainings. This program is anchored in classical yoga studies, personal development coaching with licensed professionals, and modern movement research. This really embodies what it is to be part of the Evolve Method. Our programs are systematic. Your 200-hour teacher training is a program that sets you up with all the kinesiological, the anatomical knowledge, the foundation of yoga history and philosophy, as well as a very strong anchoring in modern movement research and functional anatomy. And then out of that, when you learn this basic sequencing structure and this capacity to teach vinyasa, hatha yoga, and restorative yoga, you're able to build on that in our advanced programming, which teaches things like the energetics of asana, tantric teachings on mythology and embodying conscious myth in your teachings and in your practice. The program also has a ton of modern movement that comes to us from different mobility systems and joint health systems so that you can truly practice for longevity. We named this program the Evolve Method because it's about more than a physical practice. It's about you learning to navigate better every single area of your life, to be the author of your story and your destiny, to live out your dreams, and to bring your medicine to the world and really be able to serve. I'm so excited to give this offering to you, and I hope you'll consider joining us either online or in person.